Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Or if you're new here, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell, because today we are diving all the way into one of the darkest, most psychologically brutal horror games ever created, Outlast 2. This isn't a quick recap, this is the definitive deep dive covering the entire story. Every single major character with their full backstories and personalities. The twisted religious lore of the Testament of the New Ezekiel, Blake's personal childhood trauma that bleeds into the present, the hidden Murkoff Corporation conspiracy tying it straight back to the first game, and every single fan theory about the ending that still divides the community years later. Spoiler warning from the jump. We're going full plot, full ending, full Gospel of Noth excerpts. Everything. If you haven't played it, maybe pause this, go experience the nightmare yourself first, because this game does not hold back. It's raw, it's disturbing, and it will mess with your head. Grab your camcorder, keep the battery charged, and let's descend into Temple Gate together. Here's a quick refresher for anyone who missed the first game. Outlast 1 and its Whistleblower DLC took place at Mount Massive Asylum, where the Murkoff Corporation was secretly running the morphogenic engine, a horrific mind control and hallucination experiment that created the Walrider entity. Investigative journalist Miles Upshur exposed the slaughter, but Murkoff didn't shut down. They just went underground, literally and figuratively. Outlast 2 is set in the same universe, years later, in the remote canyons of the Havasupai Indian Reservation in Arizona. Murkoff's new toy? Massive radio transmission towers pumping out microwave signals designed to fracture minds, induce religious visions, and test mass behavioral control on an entire isolated population. The bright white flash that crashes the helicopter at the start, that's the signal. Everything that follows is either real cult madness or amplified by it, or both. Let's meet the characters properly, because every single one of them is deeply fleshed out through documents, voice logs, and hallucinations. Blake Langerman, our playable protagonist. A 30-something field cameraman, husband to Lynn, and the everyman lens through which we see the nightmare. Unlike the silent Miles Upshur, Blake speaks. He's sarcastic under pressure, deeply loving towards Lynn, and quietly idealistic even as everything collapses. He's polite when he can be, but he's carrying, crushing Catholic guilt from the childhood he once had. He's sexually repressed, haunted by unresolved trauma, and the game's notes and voice recordings show him slowly cracking as flashbacks consume him. He's not a fighter. He runs, hides, records, and survives on pure willpower. Lynn Langerman, Blake's wife and fearless investigative journalist who dragged them both into the story. Voiced with raw intensity, Lynn is driven, tough as nails, and the real brains of their reporting duo. She's the one chasing the Jane Doe murder lead. In Temple Gate, she's captured, drugged, and proclaimed the mother, carrying the Antichrist. Her pregnancy becomes the cult's obsession. She loves Blake deeply, but is more proactive, risk-taking, until the horrors break her. Reverend Sullivan Papa Noth, the self-proclaimed prophet and founder/leader of the Testament of the New Ezekiel cult. Born in the 1930s, Noth was once just a broke shoe salesman in Albuquerque, drowning in debt. One desperate late night, listening to an evangelical radio station changed everything. Except it wasn't God. It was Murkoff's experimental signals bleeding through the static. He saw visions of a fiery, many-faced angelic creature, wheels within wheels, straight out of the book of Ezekiel. He believed he was the new Ezekiel, chosen to lead humanity to paradise before the end times. He's charismatic, vulgar, and completely deluded. He wrote the 15-chapter Gospel of Noth, a grotesque, sexualized rewriting of scripture that justifies incest, constant breeding, child sacrifice, and blood rituals. He abused his own 15-year-old daughter, Anna Lee, and ordered her child killed as the Antichrist. He's a tragic villain, a broken man turned monster by corporate mind control. Marta, Noth's towering, silent enforcer and chief executioner. A gigantic, imposing woman who wields a massive pickaxe like it's nothing. She's relentless, animalistic in her pursuit of Blake, and one of the most terrifying presences in the game. Documents suggest she once ran a foster home caring for 40 children like her own, until the cult's sacrifices began. She's now Noth's loyal Christian hunter, smashing through doors and dragging victims to their fates with 0 words, just pure predatory rage. Val, the androgynous, thorn-crowned leader of the rival heretic faction. Naked, mud-caked, disturbingly sensual, and lust-driven. Documents confirm Val was once Noth's most trusted chief deacon, until the child sacrifices pushed them over the edge. They defected, dug secret tunnels, and formed the heretics who want the Antichrist born to hasten Judgment Day. To Blake, Val appears undeniably female. Other notes suggest Val may be male or non-binary. Either way, Val is the game's most uncomfortable antagonist, equal parts seductive and violent. Jessica Gray, Blake's childhood best friend from 4th grade at St. Sybil Catholic School. She came from a troubled home and had a crush on Blake, but he liked Lynn. One day after school, Father Loudermilk caught them playing hide and seek. He separated them, and he abused Jessica, pushing her down the stairs and staged her fall as a suicide. He left a fake note saying Blake should have loved her. Blake was forced to stay silent. Her memory and guilt are the emotional core of the entire game, manifesting as demonic hallucinations that grow more violent. Father Loudermilk, the music teacher at St. Sybil, on the surface, kind, soft-spoken priest in a sweater vest. Beneath, a monster who beat and abused Jessica, then murdered her to cover his tracks. In Blake's hallucinations, he became a towering, pulsating tongue demon chasing him through blood-soaked school hallways, the physical embodiment of Blake's lifelong guilt. Ethan, the one beacon of humanity in Templegate, an excommunicated cult member called one of the unborn. He helped his own daughter, Anna Lee, escape after Noth abused her. Kind, protective, he hides Blake in his basement and explains the Jane Doe connection, only to be brutally axed to death by Marta while Blake listens helplessly from below. Anna Lee, also known as the Jane Doe, Noth's 15-year-old daughter, the pregnant girl whose impossible murder Blake and Lynn were investigating. She was abused and impregnated by her own father. She fled with Ethan's help. She was found 8 months pregnant on a desert road, taken to a hospital, and murdered there by Murkoff agents. to silence the connection to their experiments. Supporting factions and figures. The Christians, Noth's main followers, hooded, inbred, disease-ridden zealots who believe they must kill the Antichrist at all costs. The heretics, Val's naked rebels who worship the coming birth of the Antichrist. The Scald, grotesque, rotting outcasts quarantined in the forests, suffering advanced syphilis and worse. Led by the tiny archered Laird Brian and his silent, hulking partner Nick Tremblay. They see Blake as their Messiah and try to rebirth him via crucifixion. Blake and Lynn charter a chopper to investigate Jane Doe, the pregnant teen found dead under impossible circumstances. Mid-flight over the remote Arizona canyons, a blinding white light fries the instruments. The chopper plummets. Blake wakes bruised, the pilot skinned alive and crucified nearby. Lynn is missing. He's deep inside Temple Gate, a decaying, blood-soaked commune built by Noth's followers decades earlier. The village is a literal hell. Rotting buildings, mass graves of infants, and deranged cultists chanting from the Gospel of Noth. Noth has already declared Lynn pregnant with Blake's child, the Antichrist, and ordered the entire village to hunt her down and kill her before birth. The cult follows Noth's own 15-chapter Gospel of the New Ezekiel, a deranged, hypersexualized scripture full of explicit commands for indiscriminate breeding, child blood sacrifice, and apocalyptic visions. Chapter 1 openly calls for the murder of infants. Chapter 12 describes dreams that dredge up the sickness of the soul. Followers are deformed from generations of inbreeding and rampant STDs. Noth preaches constantly while secretly treating his own syphilis. The cult fractured into three warring factions whom we mentioned earlier, all driven mad by the same radio signal that first spoke to Noth. Blake sneaks through the village, recording everything. He meets Ethan, who shelters him and reveals Anna Lee was his daughter. Abused by Noth, helped to escape, now the Jane Doe they were investigating. Marta smashes in and axes Ethan to death while Blake hides in the basement, forced to listen. Documents everywhere tie it to Murkoff. Old traveler notes mention radio frequency tests on subjects, referencing Jennifer Rowland, who was the pathologist from Outlast 1. The signals are causing mass hallucinations, violent sexual delusions, and religious mania. Blake's flashbacks intensify. We see the full St. Sybil story, hide and seek with Jessica, Loudermilk, catching them, the assault, the murder, the cover-up, as the hallucinations escalate. Blood rain, locusts, a demonic Loudermilk, with a writhing tongue chasing Blake through the school. Blake's guilt becomes a living nightmare. The heretics launch a brutal ambush, slaughtering Christians and kidnapping Lynn, calling her mother. Val corners Blake in a disturbing, sexualized encounter before a cave-in lets him escape. Deeper in the mines, a drugged blood ritual happens around the laboring Lynn. Val straddles Blake in one of the game's most horrifying scenes. The Christians counterattack, massacre the heretics, and Blake rescues Lynn. They flee through the raging thunderstorms. Marta is impaled by a falling crucifix, which is brutally poetic justice. Blake is later captured by the Scald, crucified, and rebirthed in their grotesque ritual. He escapes and reaches the chapel just as Lynn goes into labor. Lynn gives birth to a baby girl and dies in shock, whispering, "There's nothing there." Blake cradles the newborn. Noth appears, broken and defeated. He admits he can no longer hear God's voice. The entire village has committed mass suicide, drinking cyanide-laced hydrogen peroxide. Hundreds of bodies litter the ground. Noth begs Blake to kill the Antichrist, then slits his own throat. Blake walks out carrying the baby through corpse-filled ruins. The sky ignites, the sun explodes across the horizon exactly as Noth prophesied. The world ends in fire. Then, everything resets. Blake is back in St. Sybil school cafeteria as a child. Jessica appears smiling gently. She'll say she'll never let him go. They pray together as the screen fades to a blinding white. The Murkoff link is ironclad. The same morphogenic engine tech from Mount Massive is here via microwave towers causing hallucinations, phantom pregnancies, and apocalyptic delusions. The comics, the Murkoff account, confirm after the Asylum massacre, Murkoff agents investigated Temple Gate, realize that Anna Lee shows the same symptoms as Mount Massive patients and murders her in the hospital to cover the tracks. Noth himself was once a reagent test subject in earlier Murkoff experiments, tying into the Outlast trial lore. The biggest debates in the community are the theories of what's going on. Theory 1 is signal amplified reality. The cult, the baby, and the apocalypse are real, but the radio waves turned normal religious fervor into total madness and hallucinations. Theory 2 is Blake is dying / hallucinating everything. The crash mortally wounded him. The entire game is a dying vision blending Murkoff signals with Jessica's guilt. The baby casts no shadow. Lynn says nothing's there, and the comic's epilogue shows Blake catatonic and dragged away by Murkoff. Theory 3 is phantom pregnancy from the engine. Documented side effects are that the child is either unreal or Jessica's rebirth. Blake's guilt made manifest. Theory 4, Murkoff's total victory. The towers turned an entire village into a real-world mass mind control test. Noth was reagent 1616 years earlier. The voice of God was always corporate. Whatever the truth, Blake ends up broken, possibly dead, possibly in Murkoff custody forever, and the baby's never seen again. That is the complete, exhaustive lore of Outlast 2. Every character's full backstory and personality. Every chapter of the Gospel of Noth, every hallucination, every Murkoff document, and every theory that keeps fans arguing in the comments. Red Barrel didn't just make a horror game. They made a psychological and religious conspiracy masterpiece. So tell me in the comments, what do you think happened to Blake and the baby? Was the whole game a hallucination? Is the apocalypse real? Which character creeped you out the most? Marta, Val, or Loudermilk? Thank you for watching this long one. Y'all are legends for sticking through this nightmare. Stay sane out there, or at least keep your camcorder rolling. I'll see you in the next video.